Before we begin today's podcast, guys, I want to give a small little spotlight event. We don't usually do spotlight events, but we're going to do this now. I'm doing this thing with my hands you guys can't see. We're going to be trying to give a little bit of a small thing towards it's this coming out website. I know a lot of people these days have a lot of problems trying to come out to their friends, family members, coworkers, and all this sort of stuff. Or if you're in a marriage and you're just like, I don't know how to tell my spouse this. This website has enough information to also get a call center line so that you know that you're not alone. Because nothing is supposed to be a thing you're supposed to be ashamed of or something you have to hide from people. If you have this thing where you have to tell people that you're gay, you're bisexual, pansexual, asexual, you're secretly trans, you have a safe place, and it's in the description below. Now, that being said, roll intro.
Growing up and growing old, don't you feel the time moving forward every morning when we rise? If only we could make it right before the sun says goodnight.
Hello everybody, welcome back to What Grinds Our Gears, the podcast owned by, ran by, and basically just done a bunch of whole random shit with by all things family. And with our new team of lawyers, thanks to the shotgun of firing, thanks to me, Jazz, and Britt. Don't worry about where we actually put them away. If anyone asks, thanks to our new contract with Lovecraft Emporium and Hastur and Cthulhu, may they actually not kill us in our sleep, we got a nice cleanup system. And also there's tentacles on the floor now, so it's all weird. Anyway.
I have a solution to that, by the way.
We can't murder them, Jazz. We're under contract with them.
I made a sushi shop, so...
We can't eat eldritch gods! That makes insanity!
Wait. Who says? If we eat them, do we gain their knowledge?
No!
I'm not eating them. I'm giving them to other people to eat them. But
okay,
you can do what you want.
Oh, that's a good idea. Find out what the
That's the whole point of a sushi shop. You don't eat food you make.
But anyway,
like a drug dealer.
Guys,
you don't get high on your own supply.
Guys, let me just go around the round table real quick.
Sorry, go.
Anyway, on the left side of the round table, we're gonna start off with like some people that haven't been here in a while. On the left side of the round table, we got, of course, the king and queen of destruction. They're riding on top of a huge mount on the way to work every day. They call it Callie. I just see a random cat on our round table now.
That's a big cat.
Do random destruction. They save random people. They make a lot of malice and mayhem everywhere. But we all just know them by their mortal names of Shweebe and Phoenix! Oh my God! How are you guys doing, by the way?
Really freaking good. I just got a...
Wow, that was like on the opposite end of spectrums there.
Well, somebody is not feeling good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a bout with vertigo at the moment, so I close my eyes and the world spins.
I'm sorry.
On the flip side, I got a call about a possible promotion. Oh, yeah! I'm excited.
Now, joining me, unlike the... Well, you're like at hand's distance, Jazz. Can you just like scoot away like 2 inches? Thank you. This is the princess of all knights everywhere. She has recently come from a nice archaeological visit to Camelot to get the brand new Excalibur. I have no idea what she's calling that sword, by the way. Not to mention that she and her friend Harriet Soden, aka Bookseek Nerds, just came back from another mystical adventure that they're probably going to tell you guys about in their channel, so I'm not going to give that whole secret stuff away. Everyone give it up for our little sister, Jasmine!
Hello!
Jazz, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I just woke up half an hour ago, so...
Well, I mean, you're exhausted. Obviously, you came in on like a flying horse.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I woke up on the flying horse on the way over.
She has a busy schedule, everyone.
The best way.
On the right side of me, Aaron, put the beer down.
No.
Anyway, we all know this man. He's the man, the myth, the legend. He's Daredevil every Saturday, Deadpool every Sunday, Wolverine and Andy Dufresne every Monday through Friday. You guys can do the math on which day is which. Not only that, but he and his wife are also these two people that recently became the numbers 1 and 2 hero of the Hero Academy. Not to mention, follow this with me, not to fucking mention that if it wasn't for this man alone, we wouldn't be getting the Lovecraft contract today from all of his nice electrical work, and also trying to kill Shiv Nagorath. Give it up, everyone, for Hubs!
Woo! I have to make a change to the schedule, though, B. Due to my daughter's contractual agreement, I am now a unicorn on Sundays.
You're a unicorn? When are you going to be Deadpool, then?
I
That's
think
when
I'm
you unicorn and Deadpool at the same time, yo.
Yeah, he's guiding the unicorn.
called
Okay,
Deadpool.
then why did you say it like that?
Deadcorn.
Not
You're
seen
the
yourself
unicorn
writing
first
yourself. But
smash.
anyway, how you
Yes.
doing this evening?
And every now and then he just kind of does the thing to his horn and
Yeah, you just
fucking
see his
rainbows everywhere.
two
Wait,
hooves
wait,
to the side of his
Wait,
horn.
has anybody ever seen the commercials for the Squatty Potty?
Oh,
Do you
yes, the one
fucking
with the ice
do a
cream?
favor? Yes.
Yes,
Where
okay,
it's
yeah.
a puppet unicorn, and it's got like a prince talking. He's like dressed up like a prince or a vagabond or something.
So
Very
gross.
disgusting.
I would
Do
eat that.
yourself
Anyway,
a favor and look up those commercials.
Anyway,
They're
how you
hilarious.
doing this evening, the Hubs?
Oh, I'm just great. Jenny's
Okay.
playing Fallout 4. We were watching American Horror Story before this, and nice reprieve
All
to
right.
come to the podcast.
Okay.
I actually started watching the Sherlock Holmes movie show with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh.
How do you like it so far?
My people.
I'm on I just finished episode 2, and I actually like it.
It's really good.
He is actually as much a dick as Sherlock Holmes needs to be.
Thank you.
Girl,
Anyway,
flying her way out.
guys, we have a whole cornucopia of stuff for you all, and now we got a whole new list and a bigger whiteboard that you're never gonna see. We're gonna be covering 2 topics today, and next we're gonna be focusing on the Legends podcast. What's the Legends podcast? You're gonna take it up with our attorney, and our attorney will not talk to you. Anywho, first
Our attorney
topic
is a
is
gangsta, okay?
names that are definitely problematic on a personal level.
All right, so these are names that you can't trust because everybody's grown up. Everybody's grown up and just had that one person or 2 or 3 or maybe a dozen people where they're like, wait a second. You have that fucking name that I've heard before.
46,853.
So
We have to add to the apology book.
I'll bring
What
up
apology
the
book?
first
You gotta
one.
take it
And
up with Clancy down the hall, like it's down the
See?
hall, 3 doors down.
there's a good name. Clancy's a good name. You feel like you could trust that name.
I'm sure there's a Clancy who's like
So
a
you
mean.
guys haven't met? Oh yeah, Shreeves, Phoenix. You guys gotta meet the new team. Clancy's wonderful. He'll give you some pancakes when you go to the office. So
Okay, well, I already like Clancy better than I like Steve, my camera guy. That guy's drunk all the time, all right?
See, Noah's another funny one. Noah is a terrible name. No matter what, you cannot trust a Noah.
my
Okay,
daughter
so-
actually dated a Noah.
Noah
He was
was
a
the
dick.
motherfucker that was taking people across the ocean.
I don't know.
And
You
he
know,
fucked his son's
Here.
wives.
here's what we'll do. Okay, because these are all going to be from personal experiences. These are going to be generalized
A
viewpoints.
generalization of names.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're not saying that everybody who has these names is bad.
Yes.
We're
Oh,
just
no,
saying
far
that
from.
Trust
It's
me.
just from personal
You're
experiences that we
Yes.
mistrusted
So-
these names.
for me and my wife here, the most untrustful name that we can think of is a Jessica.
Yeah.
Ah. Have you ever known a Jessica that you just are like, no. I've known several.
I've
This is
only
why
known
I
Jessica
love
I've
that.
never met, I've wanted to hit in the face with a shovel.
Not true.
So we-
There was the one.
Which one?
What?
She was a little young, but yeah.
Ooh. Don't you me?
I can't
I
give
can't
real
give it
names.
away.
I know, but is this... Oh, okay. Well, that's different. That's like one in a batch of 13 Jessicas that I've met,
I'm
and
well
I hate
aware.
all of them.
All right,
Okay,
see, there you go.
okay.
So there's.
Correction to that. I've met one Jessica who's awesome.
All right. Oh, you've met one out of 13 that's awesome?
Yes.
there's a Jessica group. It's like 1 out of 13 of you must be a good heart.
That's gotta be.
I've got a mixed name, Mitch.
Mitch
It's one of those
That is a
Okay.
good one.
where you
Okay.
can never really tell what you're gonna get. Because I've had a lot of asshole Mitches, but I currently work with 2 of them who I'd kill someone for.
No, that is a good one. Because
So-
I agree.
I don't know.
It's one of those weird ones.
I've only ever known
How
one.
about
So
the Jessica thing? I brought up Jessica because I was in the same boat as Shweebes there. With I've known, approximately, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8,
Yeah.
and only one of them, was cool, right?
You guys are the lucky ones. I've never known a good one just super slutty or
Oh,
super
see?
murdery.
That's yes. Okay,
Yeah.
in my case, she was both, and she was dating my best friend.
Ooh.
Yeah. Imagine that. I tried so hard to help him, and I could. He got sent to jail 6 times because of her.
whoa.
6 times.
Does he have my life now?
I was gonna
I'm
say
not-
that.
Shit
Hold
out
on.
of my second
Hold
one.
on.
Does he have my life now?
What? What?
Fool me
What?
once, shame on me.
This is why I said it was
Fool me
a
once, shame
okay.
on you. Fool me 6 times.
Shame on me.
Oh no, he got it. Here, hold on. He got it after the 3rd time, right? Now
still
I know
got-
that's still one too many, right? I get that.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
But he had a child with this woman,
Right.
Oh.
so he really wanted to try and make
Love
it
the harmonious.
have the family, right?
No,
Yes.
it was a harmless and then me being like, oh, I see. Like,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
So the final time, okay, the final time, she sent him to jail.
Mm.
She proceeded to have a weeks-long party in his duplex.
Ooh.
All right.
That's
Now, I'm not going to get into the details. Let's just say there was human feces on the ground.
Ew.
Oh, why'd you say that?
And his daughter was there for the whole fucking thing. Needless to say, he has full custody now. She is not a part of the life. She is actually in jail now. The whole thing got sorted. But that Jessica was evil.
Hmm.
Not gonna
Why do
lie,
you
it sounded like a shitty party.
Oh, the puns.
We've missed you,
really?
Phoenix.
You're welcome.
I
Actually, I've
didn't
got
want
a
to
good
get too
one.
deep into it.
You ready for a pun combo?
What?
Oh, God.
No, never mind.
Do it. Let's do it.
Get it.
Let's do it.
Did you hear about the frog that was really enjoying this book? You could almost say he couldn't be pulled away from it. Yeah, he found it riveting. You could even say he was knee deep in it.
Mm.
He was just glad he got it from his father before he croaked.
That's a triple, you liar.
Combo!
Yeah.
Combo breaker.
Ah.
Combo breaker.
Stop it.
Names that
you
I
want-
personally just don't trust. Travis. Now let me explain why.
Yeah.
I know a Travis who I don't trust.
Now, the 2 Travises
Yeah.
that I've actually met, I've only known at least 2 of them, and I've heard at least about 15 of them. The 2 that I've met are the worst scums of the earth. The first Travis that I just don't trust beyond the other Travis is the one that tried to make it seem like I raped his girlfriend when we were just fully dressed in the same bed.
Okay.
Who also sold me when I was asleep for sex slavery.
Ooh.
Well then.
That'll
Yeah,
do.
okay.
So personally, I
hold
want
on,
to see
B.
that Travis die.
when they say that escalated quickly? That does not begin to describe what you just said, okay? That wasn't an
It sounds like he
escalator.
just fell right off the cliff.
Yes, that
Yeah,
was
bullshit.
like, I want to go from the 50th floor to the 1st in about 2 seconds. That one.
Yeah. How do you think I felt? And the other
Oh my
Travis on the lesser scale, he... How do I put this? You guys remember me telling you about my cousin Dominic and how we have a weird history together?
Yeah.
Like I did the prank about the fake kidney coming out of his body in the cooler, and I ate it in front of him. He and I knew this one Travis where he tried to, and I quote, go to Dominic's girlfriend with a glory hole.
What?
Like,
How do you go to
he
somebody with a
came
glory
with
hole? Did he
us.
take a piece of wall and go, suck it?
He followed her
that what
to the
happened?
bathroom where it was adjacent to the men's. Literally cut a hole while she was still sitting there peeing and just stuck his dick in the wall just like, hey.
Did he just constantly have a drill with him?
I don't fucking know.
Because, like, it'd be like,
No,
Travis,
he just...
Travis, is that a Travis? And it'd be like, no, it's not. Well,
No, Travises have superpowers. See, they just get hard and they can poke a hole through anything. That's their superpower.
See,
Just
I have a question about the whole glory hole thing. How can you be certain that the other side and where that person isn't a psycho and possibly has a knife on them and isn't afraid to cut your little willy off?
you
I'm
should,
just
That's what
saying,
makes it
if that were
exciting.
to ever happen to me, I always carry some form of protection on me.
Hold on,
You
wait,
are
wait.
not going to be going back on that side.
Burst
That's
through
the
the
same
men.
person
The men's
you were
going to beat his
before.
ass,
Settle
though.
down, settle down. Sweeps. I want you to go through this. You walk into the bathroom, you close the stall, you sit down. Taking care of business. You notice this hole to your right. You're like, huh, that's kind of odd.
and it has graffiti that says glory hole next to it, just in case
No,
you
it
didn't
doesn't
see
say anything. It doesn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
It's just a hole
Wait,
in
He
the wall.
just drilled it, so
So-
there's
so-
no way-
Oh, okay.
She looks through, she doesn't see anything. It's dark in there. All of a sudden, she's taking care of business. A wiener comes through the hole at you. What do?
I'd probably
Cut it the
scream
fuck
at
off.
first and be like,
42.
Jesus Christ! And they're like, oh! And they're like, slice you, like, ha! Take
I was
that!
thinking more
no,
Porky
I'm not
too, for
going,
some
ha, ha, ha.
This sounds so mean, but I'd probably laugh. I'd probably laugh.
That's
I'd
a
probably
better-
just be like, ooh.
Oh my god, there's a fucking penis. Okay,
I really feel like Shweebe would pull up Porky
Especially if
too.
it's just
She'd
the
see
head,
it
that's the
and
only
then
bit that
just
made it out
bash
there.
his face into the wall by just grabbing it. Bah! Bashing
Shrews becomes like John Wick.
I would just take a lot of toilet paper because you don't know where that thing has been and just
Oh.
kind of just boom.
Oh.
Ah!
Now we're talking about wiener mutilation. This hurts.
No, I'm just saying Porky 2 had that scene where like that random girl saw the dude's penis and then just like he was in pure pain afterward.
All right. Back to topic.
Right.
Right.
Chat rate number
Yeah.
1 done.
Right. Okay.
So
Mitch.
we've been through Mitch,
We've been
Yeah,
through Mitch,
Mitch.
Jessica, Travis.
Rabbit, and I have
No,
known.
we haven't been through Mitch. He just said he didn't like Mitch.
I'm divided on Travis because I've known approximately one good one and one bad one. So I'm divided on that one.
At least
but I
you found
definitely
a good
see it.
one.
I definitely see it because the Travis that I knew was a total dick, and his last name. Never mind.
Yes, let's just say that. V, can you edit out who I'm gonna say?
I can't.
What?
I've edited out a lot
Yeah,
of things.
you guys-
Like I've edited out when we were talking about the creation of Larry.
So wait,
Yeah.
this is like we're talking about Voldemort now. Is this the name that should not be spoken?
It's like
we have a contract with eldritch horrors that could enslave us all. We don't fear a man with no nose.
who I was gonna say when you mentioned Travis was
Whoa.
death like.
So to anyone that just heard like a pure censor noise, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
All right, Jed. So what's your name? You got to come up with one that we haven't had.
Wait, we haven't done Mitch yet though.
We didn't do Mitch.
I
We
thought
didn't
we.
talk about
Kinda.
Mitch.
I mentioned it, but it was one of those we kind of immediately jumped right into Travis.
Oh,
Oh.
well, I've only known one Mitch.
I don't
so-
know any Mitches.
The Mitch that he's referring to, he and I both know, and yeah, he can just.
And then there's the
At
two
least
that are
the
at his
last
job.
time we saw him, that version of that Mitch can go to hell. I have
Wait.
no idea if that Mitch is the same person he is today because it's been so many years.
Are we counting like Mitchell in that?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
Mitch!
Yep,
I know
okay.
a lot of great Mitchells. One of my best friends from Europe is named Mitchell.
All right, because it's the opposite for me. The Mitch that I know is great. The Mitchells that I have known haven't been so great.
Really? Because
That's weird because I'm the reverse. Usually Mitch is
Because Mitchell
short
Graves
and
is one of
synonymous
my
for
best
asshole,
friends.
whereas Mitchell tend to be the mixed bag where it's like, there's some that are hard to deal with but good guys, and then there's just straight up they're great guys.
Well, around
like Mitchell Graves, the dude offered to give me a kidney and a lung.
I think some
All
of
I
it's
did
dependent.
was I stubbed my toe.
I think some of it might be dependent on where you live too, because where I live, the Mitchells that exist where I live are hotty totty.
Oh,
I'll just put it that way.
You get the bougie Mitchells.
Yeah, and if you're a Mitch, you're more of the down to earth farmer.
Wait, when did Callie get on the table?
About 2 minutes ago.
Who left the studio door open?
Callie doesn't need doors. She can just phase through shit.
Oh, okay, I forgot.
She's like Vision.
But yeah, I don't know any Mitchells. I don't know any Mitches. I know Mitchells. I just don't know any Mitches.
I don't know any Mitch or Mitchell. So when you said one came from Europe, I was like, where though?
Mitchell Graves from
Like I control all of Europe, and I'm like, there are no Mitchells here.
No.
There are no Mitchells here.
No, just like out in Westminster.
He's
Back
from
when I used to live on like east side of London, I would go out there a lot.
Yeah, that's the Westminster. Yeah. That makes more
Like
sense.
out of
Alright, I'm gonna
everyone
get
I've known from Westminster
absolutely.
and from Manchester. Manchester was so mean to me.
Manchester,
Like
I would apologise, but
I'm gonna get into some names that probably everybody recognizes after Jasmine.
alright.
Gibbs.
we already know a Jasmine we love.
No. I said after.
Oh,
I'm not naming her.
Be like,
Jasmine, you're the only.
All Jasmines are evil.
Except maybe the one with the tiger.
oh come on.
She was alright.
She was okay. No, the name
The
I
tiger
was
was amazing.
I prefer the genie.
Oh,
But get to the name though. Get to the name.
No. It's Jazz's turn.
my name was gonna be Tom. It's such a basic name that it brought me great woes. So
See,
basically,
that's kind of a riddle for us.
You jackass.
Not as popular a name in the U.S.
yeah, it's a popular name
But
here.
pretty popular name.
Okay, I don't
US
know where
not
you
much.
are, but I meet quite a few Toms.
Well, I know Tom, Dick, and Harry, but that's different.
Oh,
Shut
come on. You just keep going with it.
up.
Oh.
Hear me out. Okay, so what is the likelihood that you meet 3 Toms and each and every single one of them, well, the second one I'll get to, but like each and every single one of them is like not nice. So the first Tom I met used to be like, he didn't know what hygiene was. He constantly was like touchy with all the girls in our class. He just wasn't the best. Second one was a character I came up with, and I went, I'm gonna name him Tom. There's no bad tensions in the universe. I'm not gonna meet a Tom in the next like 3 months. That would destroy my life.
Which you guys can see that whole thing in the description below, by the way.
Yeah, and then I wrote this character called Tom, and then 3 months later, this guy moves into my flat called Tom, and I'm like, you're right, yeah, it's nice to meet you. And then 6 months after that, I'm punching him in the face. So it's just like, I put that in the universe, and the universe went, you don't like the name Tom? Oh, here, a worse enemy for you. Take it.
We come from a family of scrappers, if you guys haven't noticed.
I have to defer this one. How many Toms have you known, and how many of them have been good? Jenny agrees with Jasmine.
Wait, is Jenny still in the age?
Wait. What about TJ?
Wait, are we doing Tom and Thomas?
I think that goes in the same
Thomas
category.
tends to be like the nice little nerd that you pinch the cheeks of. Because
Exactly.
I know 5-year-olds called Thomas.
He's like the little engine that could.
Fuck you.
Swear to God.
But for myself, when it comes to both Tom and Thomas,
Oh.
So a little bit backstory for you guys is that I have a shit ton of half siblings, and by shit ton I mean you don't want to know the number that came out of Ileana's vagina. So
Was it like what's that movie with what the hell's the movie?
I'm gonna bleep this out for everyone,
dozen.
but my family. But to basically clarify,
Cheaper by the dozen. That's the movie.
No. To basically clarify
like
my
a
family
clown
about
car?
my half siblings from the family I will never say anything kind about.
Damn.
Nice. It really was a clown car.
Will you shut up?
For what was censored, don't worry about the number. But I have a gay half brother named Paul. He and I have always hated each other for a lot of reasons. Mostly
Actually, I
because
think
he's an
gay.
asshole.
Sorry, carry on.
But anyway, Paul used to date two guys. One was named Tom, the other one named Thomas. Tom was racist. It didn't even help that he wanted to say that he's a pure-blooded Norwegian of noble blood, and I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Well, they think everybody's lower than them, so don't take
Not
it
all
personally.
Norwegians.
No, just Norwegians of noble blood.
Yeah, yes, so me and Tom got in a fist fight where me and Paul didn't talk to each other for a number of years, which was fine by me, because fuck Paul. Then, he dated another guy named Thomas. This bitch wanted to get in my pants to spite Paul.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Everybody knows I'm not gay. I have nothing against people of the LGBTQA plus community. Just don't try to force me to be something I'm not. That's my only rule. And everybody knows this except for Paul when he dates certain dudes. Because Thomas was trying super fucking hard, even the point with almost rapey vibes. And I'm not going to go into specifics, but he ended up in the hospital that day, where luckily he can now
rape
walk
is bad.
again.
See, that's weird, Vinny, because you didn't tell me no.
Ooh, wow.
I feel proud of yourself.
This is not the NSFW broadcast, Phoenix. Save it.
I'm sorry.
The thing is,
You're right.
I was gonna say, V, yours was racist, mine was homophobic. Like, they might be in the same club. They'd be like, did you hear that V
Well-
and Jasmine are friends? They beat us up real quick.
Well, over here we do have a thing called Uncle Tom, and it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
Oh.
no. When I found out about that term when I came to this country, I'm like, so it's a black guy that hates the black guys? No, it's a black guy thinking he's a white guy, but hates black people because he thinks he's a white guy. What?
Something like, yeah.
We know we have the apology list. We now have the exclusion list. So, celebrities called Tom, we exclude Tom Hiddleston, Tom Hardy, Tom Hanks, Tom Felton, Tom Cruise,
Not Tom Cruise. Never Tom Cruise.
Tommy Lee Jones.
I love his movies, D.
We love his movie, it's just not him.
You know what? I don't even recognize half these Toms. Oh, I do like Thomas Brody Sangster. Sorry, Tom.
So we're going to drop the exclusion list. We're going to do it at the end of the season. Someone call up Clancy to write up all that stuff for us, and make sure you bring
Hold
back
up.
pancakes.
Hold up, V. Just 1 second. Did you know Robert Pattinson's real name is Thomas?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Fake Twilight fan. Carry on.
It seemed like
I'm not even a Twilight fan. I'm more of a Cedric Diggory, and also when he was in Remember Me fan. And the Water for Elephants movie.
Oh, that's...
Robert's another good name. I don't think, honestly, Robert, I've had anybody who was overwhelmingly bad.
Bobby!
Guy Jr. That's all I'm
So,
Actually, every Robert I've ever met has either been called Rob or Bob, and they're always cool.
Bobby!
They're
I
always
would-
idiots. Period. And hands down, like,
No.
no. I mean, like, they're not book smart at all. Not stupid, but
They're just,
just
not book
like,
smart.
oh
So
yeah, they barely passed third grade, but they were great guys.
the Roberts that I knew, I can only think of one, who I would claim to be the almighty douche. And there are reasons behind that. Every other Rob, Bob, I knew a Bobbert. Have you ever known a Bobbert?
Nope.
A Bobbert.
No.
Yeah, Bobbert.
Yes.
His name
Yes,
was
I have.
Robert, but instead he didn't want his nickname to be Bob or Bobby or Robbie,
Oh, now I get it.
so he kind of like
Bobbert.
self-inflicted this Bobbert nickname onto himself.
It's like a weird Steven
Just
Universe.
coming in
movie.
here.
He
Go
was
ahead.
one of the cooler ones, but
My name is Bobbert. I'm gonna be
It's like a
Mate.
What
weird
the-
Steven Universe fusion right there, like Stevani.
the one bad one that I had was my best friend from childhood. Like, I knew him since I was like 5 years old until I was 24, 23,
Damn.
somewhere in there. Like I knew him my whole life.
I've
And
had that
then-
kind of friendship.
And then he just,
May he rest in peace.
I have this thing where I don't like to lie. I don't like to keep secrets. I don't like to cover for anybody, that is, unless it's like, you know, a serious thing. Like this happened to be between me, the Robert that I knew,
Bobbert?
and a female friend, mutual friend of ours, and they had a thing going on, and there was a history of that growing up with us, specifically those two, not like all of us together, but
Yeah. You didn't have to clarify. We understood.
I don't know.
But,
maybe.
there was a bad history there between those two. Like, he would like to use her, right? And I didn't like it. So it gets to my 20s, and I've had a definite. I've gone through a whole cycle of friends over and over again. You know how you kind of go through different friends and different phases in your life.
Oh yeah.
He was the one constant, and so was she, right? And I disagreed with what they were doing. I warned them, you know, hey, if this goes down the same path it has in the past, I'm calling bullshit on it. And there came a night, and she, you know, was asking me questions and things, and I didn't lie to her, but I didn't, like, outright say anything to her either. I said, you need to talk to him. This is between you and him. You know, you need to do this. Like, so I said nothing, really.
Right.
But I was there for her at the same time, and it just blew up everything between us. And then since then, he's called me a liar, which I never done. He's how can I trust you again? It's supposed to be bros before hoes. I'm like, that is not an actual thing.
Wow.
No.
Fucking
That's
moron. I said,
and
it's
if he's
before.
referring to her as the hoe, then clearly he wasn't
And that's
treating
what
her
I
like
said
a
to
lady.
And that's what I tried to describe to him. I said, we've known her, as almost as long as we've known each other. How can you say that? She was our friend, and you treated her like trash, and now you're blaming me for your fucking faults.
Sometimes
And it's
you
just-
can't help.
And it's gotten worse since then. It's gotten dramatically, exponentially worse since then, because when you're growing up, you may not notice things. Like, he was a very affluent kid. His father was an engineer at a GM plant, General Motors plant.
Right.
Made very good money.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely good money. As a kid, I didn't notice these things.
I get the picture.
You know, I was just included, so I was having fun, and it was fun. And I didn't know it otherwise. And then you get into your teens, and you're like, okay, you're kind of being a dick, dude. Calm it down. And then you get older, and you're like, no, you're just a fucking douche. You're
Yes.
a fucking douche who thinks everything should be handed to you because it always has been.
Yes.
When you make a mistake, it's okay. When everybody else makes a mistake, they need to own up to it.
Yes.
And that's exactly what it turned into. So I have known exactly one Robert who was a complete and total utter douche. All the other Roberts have been cool. So
I would like to abstain from the Robert one, because one, I have not met a single Robert that's memorable.
Downey Jr.
Dang it! You got to him before I could do my joke.
That's
Robert Downey
celebrity.
Jr.
I mean, like, personally.
Oh, come
hey,
on.
what if you know?
We're talking more like personal
Robert Downey
experiences.
Jr.
You know, if you met
Like,
Robert Downey Jr.,
every
If I
Robert
met
that
Robert
I've
Downey
ever
Jr.,
met
I'd
has
be
always
like,
been
so
an
how does it feel to
absolute
be one of the richest black men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Like, excuse me? Come on, Robbie, come on. You got that black person card because you went to jail for a minute.
he played one in Tropic Thunder.
No, he took off the white face for Tropic Thunder.
I get
In the Iron Man movie, there's a scene where the first thing he does after he finally gets back to America is he gets a Burger King cheeseburger. Do you know why that is a thing? Because Burger King is the reason he ended up stopping his drug bender. One night, he is high as fuck on whatever the hell he was doing, went out, got himself a Burger King cheeseburger, and it was the worst fucking thing he has ever eaten, and gave up drugs that night.
Whoa, I didn't know that. That's
Over
so
Burger
cool.
King. Yeah, so that's his little haha.
Celebrity Effects with Phoenix.
That's good. fact.
So,
Uh,
any other Robert stories, guys?
No, Jasmine stole mine.
Again, that's a celebrity. We're
I
talking
don't care.
personal life.
I could have met Robert Downey Jr.
Look,
You don't know
and
me.
Bobby Jr. are friends.
So I've got to add to the second round.
Bobby.
Second round of names. Sasha.
I know a nice Sasha.
I don't think I've ever met a Sasha. No, that's not true. The
Did
only
you see what
Sasha
V just
I
did?
met
Wait, did
was
you
a
just
cat.
see? No, see what V just did?
The only
It's a
Sasha I
podcast.
know is
No one can see what we did. We ran
absolute.
away. V.
That with every bit of that word. Absolute.
Mine was just psycho. I wasn't going to call it that.
My Sasha got drunk and cried that she failed me because we got a less than perfect score in an essay.
Well, that's awesome. That's
She was
awesome.
a sweet Sasha. She's still alive. She is a sweet Sasha.
But this is why I'm saying they're personalized, because I don't want to make the broad
Okay.
generalization, but I am at the same time, you know what I mean?
So
That just means I have the best one because mine was a cat. Haha.
Okay, Sasha.
Okay, V,
Mm.
you back? Sasha.
Yeah, I'm good.
My Sasha story is not as good as your Sasha story. Well, maybe, I don't know.
The only Sashas I've ever known, and these go back to when I used to hang out with friends on the regular that hang out with models and celebrities for a living.
Damn.
The Sashas I knew were really into trying to become legitimate porn stars.
Okay, no, this is completely
Hey, it
direction
pays
where I was
bills.
going.
Being in like the worst amateur porns I've ever had the sheer audacity to hear stories about and even attempt to drive them to, but then just like, stop right here. Why? This is the house.
Wait. They were all smart enough not to do snuff films, right?
No.
They weren't? So how many of them are alive?
2.
All of them. The only snuff films that they signed on for was for scat fetish,
Ugh.
the urine fetish,
But I thought snuff films...
No, snuff films don't automatically mean murder. That's basically when it's a certain type of company from the dark net. I don't want to go into the specifics about how I know this, but let's just say it's a full-blown story that will probably get me and everyone I love killed. But needless to say, when it comes to stuff involving that sort of category of snuff films, that is something that you would never be the same for, nor would you want to see any living person again.
Before anyone comments how we all went ooh to all the kinks that V mentioned, kink shaming is my kink. So come for me.
This is why I don't say my kinks in front of Jazz.
It's just that video where he's like, kink shaming is my kink, and the other guy goes,
Like a name. So it's a very 50-50 name. And it's Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Cheyenne.
The reason that it's a 50-50 for me, and I can't go into great details for privacy reasons, but the one was a good friend for a very long time. Bad stuff happened. We're no longer friends due to the choices that they made. Almost literally had Phoenix and I broken up years ago because of their choices and bullshit that they pulled. Thankfully, we worked past that, so that didn't wind up being a thing. The other person I met is an absolute she's a friggin' sweetheart. I love her so much. If ever I can find her contact information again, I'm hoping I can go out and get a couple drinks with her or something, because she was just that cool.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's a weird 50-50 thing with that name for me.
Sorry,
guys, I gotta pull the yellow alarm. Aaron, are you
I had
okay?
to go. Hold on. I had to go remove a curse because as soon as I said her name, I knew she threw one on me.
I gotta throw the yellow alarm now for whenever a family member is in distress.
No, I'm not distressed. I was just dying. And then
it's still
I went to the
distress,
bathroom,
damn it!
Yeah.
said some Hail Marys, and then the curse is gone. So I'm good. No, I'm kidding. Not really. She would have cursed me. Yes. Most definitely.
Okay, let me turn off the alarm.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
No, there was that.
But Cheyenne. This is actually the only normal story I have for a name.
I only know one Cheyenne, and she's a good girl. I've known her since she was, a baby.
So not Shania Twain.
No.
No.
Although I did meet Shania Twain once.
How is she?
In real life, she's not that bad.
Really?
A little bit off at times, where she has like scatterbrain moments, like normal people. But she's really nice to talk to.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's
As
not.
long as you don't try to go below like your own personal value, then she'll just treat you like human garbage. But the only Cheyenne I actually knew on a legitimate basis, not just I met them sort of thing, the only Cheyenne I actually got to meet that was memorable, she was honestly one of the best friends that Sophie ever found for herself. And when I got to meet her, I was just like, I don't trust you because you're friends with Sophie. But you're friends with Sophie. I know. We have problems. And this is my best friend we're talking about here. I would die for Sophie. But even I gotta admit, between the stories that I've had to share with my family, like her and the pants thing, when she was 18, learning how to put them on one leg at a time, the bullshit about her pregnancy issues, like when she tries to kill herself with the baby and then tries to kill the baby when it's born for the first 3 weeks.
That's postpartum depression.
Yeah, but usually that doesn't actually mean turning on the oven to start putting it slowly in the oven.
Oh yeah, that's postpartum depression.
But anyway, when I got to just talk to Cheyenne about everything, we actually got to get to a nice meeting where it's like, I understand now why Sophie talks to you, since she can't talk to us all the time, because you're sweet, you're really a nice person, you're really a charming individual, and you're not an asshole. That's the only problem, that you're not an asshole. To be in this friend circle, you gotta be an asshole. She's like, but I don't want to be one. Like, then you will not be in this friend circle. I will shake your hand, though, but we will not accept you in the circle.
This is like the classic anime situation where they just want to love you and be your friend, and you're like, no, you're not mean enough. You're like not mean enough to us. It's okay to be nice to everybody else, but you don't treat us like shit enough.
Really? That's not the case in my friendship group. Well, okay. Harriet and Nicole can do banter with each other, but they know if they do banter to me, I'm like sensitive soul, so I'll just be like, oh, okay. And they're like, no, we didn't mean it. And I was like, no, it's fine. I understand. I'll take
to put that in a better term, like, they're too good of a person to be part of you're like, no, you're just not one of us, because you're not exactly, we don't want you to turn into one of us. You can't do this to yourself.
If I corrupted you into what I am, you're not allowed to be like me. You have to stay the good person you are.
Basically, yes, because my friend circle, me, Edward, Sophie, Lex, Julian, even when we pull in Magnus when he's not trying to do like a get-rich-quick scheme that gets us put in jail, or if we call up Cassidy when she's not doing government work, it's like we're all assholes. Especially Nick. Nick is like the king asshole. We would just be sitting around having a nice discussion, and then all of a sudden Nick would just come in, since he's like the newer person in the group. Like, we've known each other for like years. I've known Sophie almost as much as I've known Lex and Levi, may he rest in peace, and Cassidy since I was like young and living in that cold, awful country that we will never talk about again. And I've known my other friends since I was in my early teens, while for Nick, I knew when I was on the cusp of real adulthood. So he comes in as just usual stuff like, guys, guess who has 2 front row seats to the hottest band in town? Let me guess, you do. Yeah. You gonna give any of us those tickets? No. Why?
I'm gonna sell them and make
No, he's not gonna sell them. He's like, I'm only gonna take Moira, and then we gonna try and do what normal people do at a concert. Are you guys gonna fuck in a porta potty now? What are you, crazy? No. We're gonna fuck in the mosh pit.
What? How? And not wind up dead? Or with something shoved in the wrong spot?
That's not how it works at a concert.
If you use a mosh pit correctly, you can get a lot more thrusting force.
Yes.
And a black eye.
No. See, they're
13 of them
sensitive to
in the
that.
same spot.
If you're willing to go to those lengths in a mosh pit, they'll help you out.
They will. They God knows
help
they
you
will. But when I heard, whenever we hear that sort of shit, we get super mad at Nick. We're just like, we will kick the shit out of you the moment we're out of this call and we're going to where we're going for dinner. And we usually do kick the shit out of him.
And this is why he doesn't invite you.
But he knows what he did was wrong because he knows what it's like to be the asshole out of the asshole group.
So we've got
Number
Sasha,
2
we've got
is
Cheyenne. That's the round 2.
Mhm.
But again, like I've said, I've only known one Cheyenne, and she's a good girl so far. I mean, she could have done a lot of bad things with the way she was raised and grew up, and she
Right.
turned out great so far. I keep saying so far because she's so much younger than me. So I'm hoping that continues, and I'm holding out hope. But anyways, who's next? Who's next on the chopping block of names?
Who's next?
Pick the
You
name.
decide.
It's my turn.
Yes.
Here's one that's kind of personal for me. It's kind of a weird name in that I have had way too many in my life. So rather than being good or bad, it's more of a gray name for me.
Right.
Anthony.
Oh.
It's kind of it's weird in that I have had way too many in my life to be able to go, okay, this is specifically they're all assholes, or you know what, they're all good guys. They just kind of blend into this weird gray.
This includes Tonys and variations of the name, right?
Yes.
I've only known
as a variation.
2 Tonys, and they're both great guys. Okay, 3 Tonys. I'm sorry.
What are you
I'm
sorry
thinking
for?
of past. I'm thinking of past Tonys.
What are you sorry for?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
At Hall?
At Hall,
Hall.
which is far more
Hall.
fancy.
Hall.
So it's absolutely
H-O-L-L.
nothing. That's why.
Anyways, the one I went to karate with, graduated karate with him, and he was fucking really cool. And then, you know, after karate, that was the only time we met was during karate. So and we went like constantly during the week. And after that was done, I didn't talk to him anymore. It wasn't like we had a bad breakup or anything. And the other Tony I know, we're going hunting hopefully this year. So
Yeah.
good friends. And of course,
That very special third one that we shall not mention.
Yeah, Tony Stark.
Yeah,
Tony Stark. Tony Stark.
Yes,
And
yes.
Tony-
that one
he's
too.
an
Ooh,
asshole
fourth one.
too, but a smart one.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking genius.
Tony
want
Stark
him in a cyber suit.
has a heart of gold.
Is he-
I have not known.
alcoholism.
Asshole.
I have not known any bad
is
Tonys.
also usually highly intelligent, but they're absolute
That must be a gene
assholes.
pool.
Or
They're like,
they-
okay, we have just enough to make a smart ass asshole.
No, wait. I get the
Send
smart ass
messages
part.
to the mother. Name this one Tony.
I get the smart ass part, but I think the intelligence part is more like a thing for themselves. I think they all think they're
Yeah.
smart. That doesn't necessarily make them smart.
I don't know. Every Tony that I've met has always been stupidly smart. Like I'm so jealous that they are that smart.
Specialized intelligence, though. It's either they
True.
are street smart to no end,
Or book
or they are
smart to know.
book smart to
Okay.
no end. They are never both.
True.
It's
They're-
All right,
counterintuitive not
I've
to.
got one that brings me back to one that me and my wife are actually divided on. But I want Jasmine to go first.
Oh. I don't have a second name because obviously like one of them I can't like say the actual name. So I'm going to use my turn to say people who aren't evil but whose names sound evil. Like Russell Crowe. He could be a supervillain. It's like Russell
Oh no,
Crowe.
he is.
Nick Fury technically sounds like an evil name.
Yeah, but Russell Crowe, like I think in his personal life, he could be Kingpin from Spider-Man. Like seriously, he paints himself as the good guy. Totally, he's a misogynistic asshole who beats everybody up because he can. That is who? I'm serious.
Anybody who has
love
like a last name that has to do with something, I don't know, like I'm gonna say pretentious. Like I'm thinking like Gary King from The World's End. They tend to be like good supervillain names.
I never really pay attention to last names because it was just never really important growing up until I moved to New York, where everybody that was called out, they did last names first, and it fucking threw me for a loop. I'm like, why is this a thing? Is it just this school? No, it's the whole damn state, and I can't figure it out.
It's not just there, because when I go to work, they don't call me by my first name. They call me by my last name.
Work is one thing, though, but when it's like...
It's the same outside of work, too.
It was so bizarre. I'm like, this is not normal. No one calls me by my last name. And I told them that. I was like, don't call me by my last name.
Okay, so...
Because that is reserved for my mother and father. Thank me very much.
Out here, it's more of like a town thing. Like, my friends have a nickname for me.
Yeah.
But if they're not calling me that nickname, they're calling me by my last name.
Really?
And it's not something that runs like friend deep. It goes beyond that. Me and my friends were actually in Black River Falls, which is where my parents were born. My parents are from. It's about 2 hours north of me. Me and my buddies were up there, up on our property, having a fire, drinking Boone's Farm. I don't know if, Jasmine, do you know what Boone's Farm is?
No.
It is the cheapest ass American wine you can buy that tastes so fucking good.
Oh, okay. I only know my box.
It tastes so good. Anyways, if you know any farmers from America, they know Boone's Farm. Anyways, we had a go-kart and a lawnmower, riding lawnmower going. We were playing fucking tag and all this other stupid shit, right? I mean, we're in our 20s. We shouldn't be doing this. Well, we forgot to let the neighbors know that we were in town.
Ooh.
So as soon as 10 o'clock hit, the sheriff showed up. And he wants to see our IDs and everything, and we hand him our IDs. He looks at mine, he says, huh? I say, yeah. Is your dad, so-and-so? Yeah. I went to high school with him. Oh, nice. You recognize the last name. Yeah, and honestly, I would let you guys go if your one friend didn't have a warrant.
Oh, shit!
Yeah. So my one friend gets hauled off to jail, and me and my other friend sit there drinking Boone's Farm, trying to figure out how to get him out of jail the next day.
Oh my god!
But the sheriff immediately knew who I was. Immediately knew who my father was. And the freaking deputy that arrested my buddy was fucking picking on him in the sheriff's car. He's like, "Boone's Farm, huh?" I remember those days. Like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Oh my god,
that's amazing.
Horrible.
It's the last name here too. I mean, I don't get called by my first. It's my last.
I'm thinking it just had to be that school, or it just slowly phased out, because I've been here for about 12 years. Within like the last 7 years, I've not been called that. So I'm thinking maybe they were just like, maybe that is kind of stupid. That's got the right idea. So
I don't know. Here in England, I do hear a couple of people, but my last name's Kelly, which is fine. Like, that's like open knowledge. But nobody goes like, "Oi, Kelly." They're always like, "Jasmine, Jazz, you." Let's go on.
Hey, you.
Kelly, now that's the name of a bitch.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, well then.
You know what?
Me.
That's honestly not a hit at you. That really is. I have known no positive Kellys.
I agree, and I am on the fence with that one, because
I don't meet very many Kellys, to be honest.
Well, there's R. Kelly, and then there's...
I'm talking real people, not fake.
By the way, so your last name is Kelly, Jasmine?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any relation in the United States? Or have you ever looked into your family history as to where it's gone or where it's been or anything like that?
My dad, that's where the name came from. Yep, that makes sense. He has it, so it's Kelley, so it's like a weird spelling.
Uh-huh.
But it's like every single one of them have come from southern West England, as far as I know. It could be an American thing, but
no, I was just
type into Facebook. All black women followed before me, so I feel like I'm just taking someone's name. I'm like, it doesn't feel like my name.
As far as I know, Kelly is a European name. I thought it was like an Irish or I think it's an Irish. But we have a famous gangster here in America named Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah. There's a criminal in Australia called Ned Kelly, and my dad used to get nicknamed Ned when he was in the army. So, not because he was the criminal, just like they're like.
Sure. No, I'm just kidding.
We just tied your name to a very terrible couple of people. That was horrible. We shouldn't have.
No.
Kelly does remind me of another name, though, Kimberly, or just Kim. I can't say that I've ever come across a Kim or a Kimberly that I didn't like. Outside of, like, I think she was like a 5th grade teacher. I mean, she was kind of a twat, but after that, every Kimberly I've met has been.
What if her name was Kimmy?
Kimmy?
Kimmy.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Kimmy? I have met a Kimmy.
Has been annoying
a royal
and
cunt.
clingy.
I can't fucking stand a Kimmy.
Yes.
That is different.
The Kimmy that I knew, I think, actually helped her mother murder her father. Yeah.
Depends.
So
Was the father like an abusive fuck or something?
no,
Or?
he was one of the nicest guys. He was quiet, kept to himself, but if you needed anything, he'd help you out.
Huh.
He was kind of a pushover.
True. It's always the part you have to be aware of because you never know what they're thinking.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what made it suspicious. Okay, I remember waking up one night, and she lived a few doors down from me, a few houses down. And this includes my best friend at the time, Robert. We wake up. It's like 3:00 in the morning. And there's fucking sirens going. There's cop cars, fire trucks, ambulances, this and that. They're right down the street from me, so I can see it. That's the only thing that'll wake me up is a freaking, siren or tornado. And we go outside. We don't know what's going on. I don't know we don't figure out what's going on until the next day. But we can see, this Kimmy, her mom, standing outside of their house, and there's flames coming out of the. I'd have to show you a picture of our neighborhood so you could see how I can see it's coming out of the back basement door.
Right.
Because if you're standing in the street, you shouldn't be able to see that. But if you knew my neighborhood, you'd understand how I could see it.
Yeah.
So what had happened was, the story is, he fell asleep on the toilet while smoking a cigarette and then lit himself on fire.
What?
That is how he died.
How would you stay asleep through something like that?
Exactly.
There's no accomplishment there.
Wouldn't you immediately jump into the shower or even just take toilet water and splash it on yourself?
What's more weird, now, me and my friend at the time, we knew Kimmy better than anybody else because we were the only two people that would talk to her in the neighborhood. She was a bit off. She was, I don't know how to say it. She was a bit slow. So she is older than us by, I would have to say, at least 5 years, 4 or 5 years. She should be ahead of us. And she was below us on the IQ scale. Okay? So she was a bit off. And but she emotionally, she was stable. So, if something bad happens, she would show that emotionally, right? There was none of the, I don't understand. She could understand when something bad was happening or when something good was happening. Right. That was all cleared up. It was just the level of IQ that was off.
Gotcha.
And she was a bit clingy, but, that's whatever. But the strangest thing is me and my friend are now out there. We're fucking standing in front of her house, and she's out there. And she's fucking smiling and having a good time. Dancing, dancing in the street. And everybody's like, okay, well, she's not right. That's what they think. Me and my buddy were like, no, she is perfectly okay in that department. It's just the IQ level is lower. She's not, off emotionally. She knows that something bad happens. And then the stories start, adding up. Or, sorry, not adding up. The wife or her mom starts coming out saying that he was abusive, and me and my friend know this guy personally, on a personal level. We knew him. He was a good person. If we ever needed help or if he ever needed anything, again, I can't say that defines what an abusive asshole is, right? Because you don't know. That's what keeps it hitting all those years,
behind
right?
closed doors, how would you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And at that young age, we couldn't possibly know that. This is just our impression. But the way that those two acted, with Kimmy dancing in the street and being happy and like, I don't know how to describe, as if what you just did and got away with, you were excited about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying she did it, because I don't think she did. I think the wife did it. I think the mom did it, to be honest with you. But I think that she framed it in a way that her daughter should be happy that he was gone.
Gotcha.
We should have a murder podcast.
Oh, God, no. I've gone on enough about this. I'm going to be implicated next. My house is going to be on fire. I need to hide.
Vinny, you alright? You're really quiet, man.
Oh,
Sorry, I talk too much.
it's fine though. It's fine. But anyway,
We just watched V remove the pillow and duvet. Like, no, I'm still here. I'm still awake.
guys,
Duvet.
let
I haven't
me
heard
let me
that.
just level with you. Let me level with you all at home, on your phones, wherever you guys are listening to this. Any sort of name in the world can have a weird attachment to you for any sort of reason. It could be for a toxic reason, a good reason, give you a nice wholesome memory, give you something that will make you scream to the heavens of just like, why were they born? Why? But it all just comes from the connotation about the people that you meet, but also knowing their stories. Because you can never truly judge someone just from name alone, because that's not just what makes up their identity, what makes them who they are. The stories about them are, and that's the most important thing.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Or same.
But here's some names I do want to judge by their cover. Tate, Heath. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
So,
Actually, I'm on board with that one.
Jared. Subway. Jared.
I only know one Heath, and it's that YouTuber that was a Viner, and I
Heath Ledger.
fucking love him. Yes.
Heath Ledger.
Love you.
I want to meet him and the whole gang and just hang out for a day. So, there you go.
Okay, V. Male names that when you hear, think pompous, douche, rich asshole.
Michael.
And no, we can't use Tony Stark because we've already used it. Say that again?
Michael.
Michael.
Mhm.
I
Not rich, but pompous.
could agree. I could
Pompous, yeah.
I know one.
Uh,
And he's not
Yes.
pompous on purpose. He's pompous by accident. He
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
mean
just
to
the way he is.
Yes.
And it's like you can't hate him because he's not intentionally being a
Right.
dick.
Exactly.
Just
Right.
is a dick. So it's like I can't hate you for you being you. That's everything I love about people is when people be themselves. But
Okay.
just so you're aware, you're a dick.
okay. I have just thought of two in the span of you talking that make me think pompous, rich, oftentimes jerk face. And both of these names I have met, and yes, they do fit that exact trope. It's Cornelius and Wallace.
Aw, I think of
these
Wallace and
male
Gromit.
Or that rich hoity-toity, I am better than thou assholes, and I hate both of them. Urgh.
Less so in the maybe less so America, but in the UK, like Gerard, like I am Gerard.
But Butler?
I knew it was coming.
No, I
What
haven't met too many Gerards in a
about
very long
Edward?
time. When I lived in Virginia many much moons ago, I would oftentimes come across names from everywhere because I lived in the military zone, so we got people from everywhere. That was the only time I ever met a Gerard. Up here, not so much.
It wasn't that when you like met one. We just named a person we were in a tour with Gerard because he was such like a pompous person and like so rude. We were like, we name you Gerard, and then that was it. And then he left our lives forever. I wonder where he is now.
So we know nothing more of Gerard other than he's an asshole.
Basically, you know that you can get those like jumpers that you wear on your shoulders and you tie it here. Like
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's a joke. Like, people don't actually do that. He did that, and he was in our Notre Dame tour, And the French guy who was touring us went, "Oh, what are the French famous for?" And he was like, "Surrendering." And I was just like, "Please stop talking. Please stop talking."
Wow.
Please stop talking.
No.
What
Okay,
an
hold.
asshat.
That's a joke here too, though. Just so you know, in America,
in the US,
Right,
it
but
is a
you don't
huge
go
joke,
to
but you
France
did,
and say that. That's so fucking rude.
yeah.
Going to
Okay,
German
hold on,
convention
Shweebes.
offense,
Shweebes.
That's just rude.
But it's more accepted here.
That's because we're not over there.
No. I mean, okay, so we are America because of the French.
Yes.
Yes,
Just so you know.
absolutely.
100%
Had they
agree.
not come in at the last second and helped us, we would not exist. And yet today, it is acceptable in this country to make that joke, that the French are famous for surrendering.
Well, that's also
Yeah,
because they don't teach history the way that they should be. But don't get me started on that in this particular podcast.
I mean,
Here's
By
the
the way,
thing.
oh,
From the French, we also got one of the most amazing hand gestures ever.
yes.
I love it.
Jeez. Not only that,
No,
it's not
it's
peace.
not peace.
It's not peace.
It is not peace.
I was
This
trying to
is
clean it up
essentially
here,
the European
okay?
version of this.
I was
Yeah,
cleaning,
it is.
I was cleaning
I
it
can
up.
test that.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we got the Statue of Liberty.
That
Oh
too.
yeah. Big ugly.
But speaking as a German,
Copper colored.
almost pure. I'm like 50-50. I can't say that. I'm like 50-49, and then my pinky toe is Irish. I'm German and Norwegian. Pinky toe is Irish. I've been called a Nazi growing up just because I was German.
Yeah. I used to live in Germany because of my when parents being in the military, and I used to get called a Nazi for being English. I don't know what it is, why it happens.
Okay, so in Germany, not majority, but a minority who are either Nazi descendants or their grandparents or whatever fought for Germany. They didn't view themselves as the bad guys. They were defending their country. So when they made the pushes into the other countries, that was them defending and expanding their country from the evil forces. They didn't. It's really weird. It's not weird. It's normal to view it that way, depending on what side of the firing line you're on. So
Think about it. Every villain is a hero in their own mind.
True.
Yeah,
But for them to be calling you a Nazi is still off.
yeah, definitely.
I mean, that is weird because the Nazi Party was from Germany. How are they're the Nationalist Socialist Party? That does not make any sense. So for them to call you a Nazi is like disgracing themselves at the same time.
Yeah.
They're calling you a Nazi as a negative when they're the ones that were actually the Nazis.
Can I just say though, the fact that the military who are currently in Germany, they're currently cutting ties to make sure that Germany can now have all the land back that they took. They did not do a good job at integrating German English kids, because I still remember this is a big memory for me, being in year 8, so being 12s, and having a German class come to our school, and all the English kids being we'll play football together, and the German kids being yeah, well, we won the World Cup, and the boys being yeah, but we won the World Wars. And it was just so
Whoa
and disgusting. And these are 12-year-olds, okay? And I was always a bit what is this?
That is something that is taught from their previous generations. That is a problem. I don't care where you go in this world. But damn.
Yeah, it was crazy.
If I may, I have to interject.
Yeah, go.
With a weird
Jasmine, it's called soccer. And this is not a U.S. thing.
God,
No.
come on.
There is actually wait. They have done it, and they have found out that it was called soccer before it was called football in Europe.
You know what?
It was actually there were colleges who called it soccer before it blew up. When it blew up, it was called football, but it was originally called soccer. So
You know what?
under your own heritage, call it soccer.
No,
This is the
no.
thing.
I'm gonna disagree. Hold on. I'm gonna defend you here, Jasmine.
Okay,
I'm gonna
I'll let
disagree
you go.
because football. Oh my God. Okay.
You're such an ass.
NFL football How often do we use our feet?
There's two instances.
3.
3 instances?
Punt,
Not
Kick
enough to call it football.
punt, kickoff, and extra point.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the extra point.
They
You are
should.
correct.
You know what? Ultimately, they should just call it pig ball.
The
'Cause
other,
first was made from pigskin.
the
Yeah,
other,
it's true.
the other 90% of our game, American football,
Hands.
is with our hands.
Oh, should we change it to handball?
No, we should be
That's
calling
not-
ours soccer
We should
because
call
there's
it
more
pig
socking
ball.
going on.
I want
in
a
our
legit
form.
thing out there that you have to punt over the score thing now.
And they
But
can
no.
keep football because they actually use their feet.
I was going to say it's funny because obviously over there it's like football and soccer, but here it's American football and
Yep.
football. So there's like a boy in my class who like does American football, and I was like, why don't you just call it like football as well? Like, why do you put American? Because he's part American, and he was like, it just feels right to put American before it. I was like, ooh, I don't like that either.
It is kind of a good game, so I 100% support putting the word.
I was gonna say, Phoenix, we should just call it rugby.
Down, even then kick it once and hold it with my hands through the whole thing, even though we call it football.
We are so off topic, by the way. We haven't even hit our second topic.
Hey, I love football. I don't care how stupid you think it is.
Truthfully, I don't care what
I don't
you
have an
call
opinion.
your
I don't watch
natural
sports.
sport. I just ended up looking into it because there was a huge debate: is it football? Is it soccer? I looked into it and I found out that there were colleges that almost 20 years before football had been the official title
Yeah.
were calling it soccer.
It's because
And
they tried to make it sound fancier than it was.
Yeah. It's just a matter of that was originally the title for it, and then when it became, but it was for lords and ladies, was soccer. And then when it started getting down into the layman, as it would,
Oh, the commoners. Okay.
Like-
they called
pol-
it
like-
football.
like polo
Wait.
and water polo.
That's a proven thing throughout history. Did you know that the word, okay, this is kind of a weird topic to go sideways on. I don't care. Did you know that the word ain't was actually originally a word used by nobility? And then once the commoners started using it, they go, well, that's not a real word anymore. Hoity-toity.
Well, I
So
don't believe
They took it away and saying that's not a real word.
I don't believe it was actual the word ain't. I believe it was a version of it, yes. But it wasn't the actual word. Right? It's like we came up with that word and they're like, let them have it. Let them have that ball. We'll just make
I
it
don't
you
know. I'd
I
have to
believe-
look it
No,
up.
I
I
believe-
think it was.
Maybe it was taint.
Yes.
It was.
It was taint. I actually believe it was taint because it was 'twas not
Ah, there you go.
taint.
It was.
So
twas
exactly. So they had that word and we just said ain't because we weren't properly educated or they weren't properly educated to say that word or whatever.
And then
You know, like the different dialects of
teachers were
English.
like, oh, we can't use that word anymore. Ugh, my dad said it. Ugh.
Well, then taint become known as something else. But like the different
Yeah.
dialects of English where you have the Cockney
Accent?
Sorry, I couldn't think of the fucking word. I'm losing my juice here, V. Or the Parky accent,
Yeah.
right? So you can't understand what.
Okay.
Have you ever seen Snatch, Phoenix?
What's up?
Have you ever seen Snatch?
No.
Oh, you've got to see that movie. Brad Pitt trying to speak Parky is awesome. Or in the film, it's Pikey. They say it kind of is the way they say it's Pikey or Pikey. I can't remember. Anyways, that's a good film. Back to the topic.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of set.
That's actually a good one.
stories.
Brad is one that I have had where they're pretentious. Not always bad guys, but they're always fucking pretentious.
I can totally see Brad Pitt as a pretentious asshole until you get a few drinks in him. Then he's like, I am everybody's friend. I will be in your film, Quentin Tarantino. I don't even remember agreeing to it, but I'll do it. Fuck yeah.
Shall we go ahead?
What are we watching it about? What's the movie about? Oh, Brokeback Mountain Part 2? I want to be the low man.
No, that's where he goes, I want to be the horse.
No, like Deadpool 2. He plays the Vanisher. Ryan Reynolds pitched to the company. He's like, oh, Brad Pitt's going to be in it. Really? Wait, what? Yeah, he's the Vanisher. What do you mean? What does he do? Well, he's invisible. oh, so Brad Pitt's going to be in it, but you can't see him. Yeah, pretty much. And Brad Pitt's sitting there the night before drinking drinks with Ryan Reynolds like, yeah, I like this. Wait. You mean you're only going to see me for 2 seconds in the film?
Really?
But I'm going to actually be there the whole time? Ryan Reynolds is like, yeah. As they're drinking their aviation gin.
Legit, Brad Pitt is in the Deadpool 2 movie. She still has not seen it. I am upset about this.
It takes me a while to watch movies.
Brad Pitt
I see so much YouTube stuff. I don't need to watch movies.
We own it.
I can contest to that. Watching like loads of YouTube. I still got loads of Netflix
watch stuff on YouTube.
All right. Hold on.
All right.
I'm feeling an absence here.
I know.
There's a voice missing.
Where is our Lion King? Where is he? Bring your mighty roar back into this podcast, Bleach.
You gotta keep up your job in this podcast.
You got your nap.
I was trying to do my job, but then Aaron and Phoenix wanted to keep going, so it's like, well, I guess we're not gonna get to the second topic tonight.
Yeah, good job, guys. Jeez.
Sorry. I didn't know this could
get to be the lionesses today, doing all the work while the male lion just kind of lounges around, enjoying.
I was trying to do my job, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, it's another good name. It's like,
well, we could do the second topic. Let's do it now. Let's start it now. Let's do it. Come on.
Okay, bad
school
stories.
I'm excited about this. What are we waiting for? Come on.
Bad school stories. Phoenix, you start.
Wait, what's the
high school stories?
High school stories, good or bad? What are we looking at?
Bad
stories. Oh.
I can't do it because I barely went to school, and the only stories I got is people thought I was this other guy, and then people tried to pick a fight with me, but then chickened out. That's basically my school life.
Well, damn.
10 points. I had a kid who had bullied me since 5th grade, and around the 10th year, he physically threw me into a wall. I blanked out. When I came to, the principal had pulled me off of him. I had fractured his skull against the same wall. Apparently, I had hit him 7 times, face first, into the wall.
Jesus.
He had lost consciousness.
We come from a family of scrappers, yo. I'm telling you.
We do.
Here's the funny part. The only reason that charges were not pressed against me is A, he started the fight, and this is the first violent moment I had on record. There were no other incidences in my entire high school history of me being violent. Yeah.
Little did they know his practices at home with gerbils.
It's hamsters.
Sorry, hamsters. Dissecting. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
Somebody next. Go.
Wait, is it?
I don't know.
One of you? I thought one of you two was going.
You know what?
All right. I got one.
Go.
Okay, this involves the Sasha. Okay.
Oh.
And the only reason I'm keeping it to bad school stories is because this actually happened in school.
Yeah.
So after we broke up, I dumped her ass and was no longer like on that train. I was just like, nope, I'm fucking, fool me once, like Phoenix said earlier.
Shame on you.
Fool me twice, it's my turn, Anyway, I was trying to do a George Bush there, but you got me there. Anyways,
don't make me.
There was this rumor going, and I can't exactly attribute this to her directly because it was never told to me that it came from her. It came from a group of friends around her that I was abusive to her during our relationship. So I'm sitting in class one day and the officer liaison walks in and my counselor walks in and they talk to the teacher, we need to talk to this student, whatever, and they say, Aaron, could you come with us? Okay.
Thanks.
What the fuck happened? This is like 6 months after I've dumped and completely shed all of that weight. They take me down and they sit me in the counselor's office and they're talking to me about, this teacher overheard some students talking about your relationship with Sasha. And I'm like, okay, what about it? It's been 6 months. Well, it's come to the teacher's attention that there may have been some physical abuse going on. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, so have you talked to Sasha about this? Like, have you gone to her and asked her if any of this was true? And they said, no, we haven't gotten that far yet. I said, so wait,
Why the... Okay.
you heard a rumor about me because my name was specifically said, and you brought me down here and you're asking me about it, but you haven't even talked to the victim?
Yeah.
It's true or not? And I said, well, okay, you go get Sasha. I'll leave the room and you can talk to her. And like the cop looked at the counselor, and then the counselor looked at the teacher, and they all kind of looked at each other and were like, okay, why don't you go back to class and we'll let you know if we need to talk to you again. I was like, okay. So that was weird,
That
right?
was dumb.
Like,
That was dumb of them.
do you guys not know I'm a teenager and I just called you out on protocol?
And I'm gonna do something that I swore I would not do on camera for anyone, but to everyone in this podcast, since we don't do camera, I'm putting up a paper where I put 5 X's, where these are going to be the N-word card, basically.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to circle 1, because I gotta say, that nigga was stupid. There's 4 left for the whole season.
Wait, does anybody get to use them?
No.
No.
No, you can't. It doesn't work that way.
Because I heard a really neat song where they just repeat that word
No.
50 times.
I know which one you're talking about.
Unless-
That shit
unless-
is so fast. All right.
Unless you are referring, it's a country, to the country of Niger in Africa. You cannot say that word.
It's pronounced Nigeria. Oh.
Shut
Oh,
up.
isn't it the river? Never mind.
I
We're
don't
not
know.
going there.
River,
We're not
yeah.
doing this. We're not doing
Next
this.
bad school story.
Next bad school story. Go.
Actually,
go.
I have one from my old first love when I was trying to pay for her college.
Oh.
It's not even something that I was trying to really get involved with. I'm just driving her to class. I'm just kind of bored because I just came back from a flight to, I think, either Istanbul or to, I think it was like to Japan again. Whatever the case may be, I'm just driving her. I'm falling asleep in the car. It's not mine. It's not important whose car it was. And then one of the teachers comes out and just knocks on my fucking door, and I'm napping, and I'm like, the fuck you want? I literally say this because I'm exhausted. He's like, excuse me, sir, are you the fiance to one Jade Goldstein? And like, yes, what the fuck do you want?
Remember V later to bleep out all the last names that we said in this podcast.
Oh, Jade's last name isn't Goldstein anymore, so it's fine.
Oh shit, well okay.
So anyway, the teacher's trying to talk to me just like, well, you see, Jade has been having some problems in class. I'm like, problems like fucking what? It's like, well, you see that she's been kind of falling behind in her geometry classes. Bitch, do I look like I give 2 fucks about some geometry? Do you know what I do for a living? No, I don't. Good, cause I could sell you 3 times over. Now leave me to fucking sleep in this car. Wait, how old are you? Did I fucking stutter? Leave me the fuck alone. Then he walks away. I'm just still trying to take a nap in this car because I'm so exhausted from selling products. And then all of a sudden, the teacher comes out with the dean just knocking on the car door. I'm like, what the fuck do you want? And like, I'm sorry, sir. The teacher said here that you were trying to threaten him and his mother. No, I said I could buy his mother over. If I were to threaten him, I'd get out this car right now. Do you want me to threaten him? No, we want you to leave the premises. Then give me back the tuition money that I paid for your piss-ass school. They didn't like that. Mostly because I'm half asleep, I'm still exhausted, and I was paying a huge amount of money for Jade to go to school. I mean, like, Kennedy school kind of money. Like, sending Kennedy kids, and also the Bush twins kind of money.
Oh, yeah.
Next bad school story. Go.
I didn't even finish, but okay.
It's your turn. It's your turn, Jasmine. It's your
Oh,
turn.
you didn't finish. Go back to me. Go back.
No, it's
Rewind,
fine.
rewind.
We'll leave it unfinished.
Oh, okay.
Leave it for a later date.
Oh,
Pull
okay.
it out of the trunk
I'll
data.
have the same theme as like people who fell asleep in class. Like what happened to them? we were doing like performing arts, and everyone was like had to like lie on their backs and like look at the ceiling and like tell the teacher afterwards what they saw through like the music piece. It's like bullshit. So
I actually had to do that once too.
It's like, sure, if the music is like inspiring, you come up with like something inspiring for the world or something, but most of the time it's bullshit because the teacher don't have a sense of music. But one student like fell asleep properly, and I was like, oh god, she's gonna get in trouble, she's gonna be like woken up, and was gonna laugh at her. But my teacher, it's not a bad school story, but my teacher just went, we'll just leave her. And everyone was like, what? And he was like, we'll just leave her. Like, he was like, can someone move her? Like, so she's not in the way of the classroom. Everyone was like, I'm not touching her, like she's asleep. And he was like, fine, we'll just be quieter and she can sleep. So imagine you're in class, you've fallen asleep, you wake up, everyone's in a circle around you because it's like circle time. You're just in the middle and you wake up and you're like,
I'm part of a cult. Wait, what's going on? Is this an occult session? Am I getting sacrificed to Satan?
Cross-legged and like talking about like they're talking about what they saw when they were like staring at the ceiling, and like it's like, I don't know, let's call her Barbara. Barbara's like, oh yeah, I saw like fields and trees, and like this girl like waking up in the middle of it like.
She's thinking she's being sacrificed to Satan right now. That's exactly what she was thinking.
It was like bad for her. And bad, but the teacher was like so like, yeah, just put it to the side, but like funny for the rest of us because we were like, poor her.
Actually, here in America, that'd probably be the best way to deal with that situation is just let her sleep.
Yeah, you don't
There's
know
so many
life, so she
so
probably
many
like needed to sleep or something.
Right. There's so many shit stories of bad things happening in school here.
Yeah.
We'll save that for later.
Yeah.
Everybody's
bad school story. Go.
Alright, that'll be me. I'm kind of glad we saved mine for last, because mine's not really fun. So, in a middle school... I'm not even going to say the name, because I don't want to give them any kind of accreditation, because they suck that bad. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I've always had this issue of getting picked on while I was in schools. It didn't matter where I was. It may have just been I just looked like that meek kind of person, and people are like, "Oh, easy target! Ah, oh look, she's got red hair, freckles! Ah!" So I mean, I was used to it.
Shweebe, I'll go back in time and take care of it.
Ooh, I got one of those.
Just say the word, Shweebe. I'll go back in time and take care of it.
Oh, don't worry, because how I got this one kid was great. So at this particular middle school, I was in a gym class. And I was pretty much by myself. Like, I really didn't have any friends in this particular class for whatever reason. So, during these particular gym days, they were like, all right, just go outside, pick an activity, go do what you're going to do. In a couple of weeks, we'll start doing, like, specific regiments and whatever. There was this kid. I can't remember his name. I just know that I didn't like him. He starts chasing me around the yard, which the yard's pretty damn big, and he was saying all these awful things, and then I was like, whatever, it's just one kid. The following couple of days, he gets himself and his 4 other big male friends chasing me as well. It would not take much for them to go and take me somewhere and have something horrible happen. So, this continued on for a couple more days, and I made sure to stay in sight of where the teachers were. Mm-hmm. The following day, I am already prepped and ready in my gym clothes, sitting up against the wall where I normally do. The one kid decides to literally, physically put his ass in my face. Ew. Before I get too far in this story, I had a military kick at this point in time in my life. I wore steel-toe boots that were military grade. I got up, chased him one full lap around the damn gym, and the gym teacher at the time thought it was like the boy-girl chase me, puppy love thing. He thought that until I tripped this motherfucker because he tried to hide behind him. I sideswiped his ankle, he fell, and then I immediately start kicking the fucking shit out of him with as full force as I could into his shins. And he's lucky that I missed his face by mere inches. This full-grown man teacher, who was easily 3 of me at the time, had the hardest time prying me off to take me into the gymnastics room to find out what the fuck happened. I'm in tears at this point because I was scared. Like, so much horrible shit happened. The worst part is he goes out to find out what happened. That little asshole tried to say, oh, she's just crazy and whatever. His friends were the ones to go, no, it was our fault. We were chasing her and messing with her. We are so sorry. Neither of us, surprise, surprise, got any kind of reprimand or, like, suspensions or anything. At least nothing that was on the books.
Right.
He, however, was removed from that gym class and moved into some other class.
See, that's the way they used to deal with it. They used to deal with it, you know, and bullying is just... Yeah. We need to find a better way to deal with bullying as it is today.
Yeah.
Period. A lot of things.
This zero tolerance bullshit where they blame the victim
is absolute fucking bullshit. What did I do in that scenario that warranted that kind of attention? Absolutely nothing. Do you see the shirts that I wear that are all the way up to here? I have always worn shirts like this, so I wasn't flaunting anything for them to go, hey, look at me, big boy. None of that shit. I wasn't that kind of person.
It's a matter of not only self-respect, but respect for others in general.
Exactly.
That we are losing. And then the discipline part, because we have experienced it with a couple of our kids.
Guys,
going
pause.
to school.
Hold on.
Resume.
So we have experience with a couple of our kids going through with issues of bullying and then issues of retaliation, you know, where you try to tell your kid, look, you can't fight back. At least that's what they want you to tell your kids.
Oh, right.
You need to go tell somebody. And ours was, well, okay, the first time it happened, you went and told the teacher, right? Yeah. And what happened? Well, he got talked to. Okay. The second time it happened, well, did you hit him back? Well, no, I went and told the teacher again. Next time this happens, you fucking hit him back.
Exactly.
Because I've gone to teachers twice now.
I've said worse, and I've actually been trying to teach my kids just like, if someone is, because I have 2 daughters, but you have majority boys and 1 girl. I only have 2 girls right now.
Well, I use stronger language with him.
No, I'm not saying stronger language. I'm just saying I usually tell them if someone is bothering you, you go in for where they're at an inch of life left.
Yes. Yeah.
I teach them that where they're just like, okay, but don't you think that's excessive? You are a woman in the world. That is not something that I'm trying to sugarcoat. You are a female in society. You need to know when to go beyond the limit of what is and isn't stuff that you're supposed to do as a lady. This is survival, because anything can happen to you as a female.
Well, and I think it's getting...
You gotta make that other motherfucker question whether it's worth the effort.
Well, and you know what? My sister was that way. My sister raised me differently than most people raised kids. I say my sister because both of my parents had a job, so I was around my sister the most, and she was 12 years older than me.
Right.
So when she was in high school, I was still in elementary school, you know. So when I hit my teenage years, she came to me and she said, you listen to me. You treat women with respect. You respect women, and you treat them the way that mom and dad taught you. But if a woman is going to come up to you and pull back like a man and hit you in the face and punch you,
you better deck her right there because she has stepped into some shoes.
I always had reservations about that because of what my parents taught me.
Yeah.
But I also tried to look at it from my sister's perspective. So when this goes back to Sasha again, and I guess a high school story. When you get that one girl that's gonna haul off and do those things to you, I had to like hybridize what my sister's teaching me and what my parents are teaching me, right? Because I don't want to fight anybody. First of all, I took karate for self-defense, and if you've actually taken a martial arts course, you will learn that there is no such thing as an offensive martial art. It's a martial art for a reason. You look into the history of it.
Well, there is
Peasants
one.
learned it. Peasants learned it to defend themselves. Yeah, we went through it before with ninjas and assassins. We actually talked about this before in a previous podcast, I believe. I don't want to get too deep into it, but at the core form, at the base form, martial art is to defend yourself, not go start a war with somebody.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is I don't want to fight, right? I can fight. I'm going to tell you I can fight. I'm going to warn you, and then I'm going to walk away. And if you continue, I will defend myself.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And I viewed that, like, I looked at women and men equally growing up. Because when I was 12, all the girls that I knew were bigger than me, were, stronger than me. Because women mature faster than men at young ages, from the ages of 10 to 14, 15, right? Somewhere in there.
Some early bloomers, like when you're 8 years old and all of a sudden little Hityanka just comes over to see you at the bread shop and is trying to talk sweet nothings into your ear, but you're like, I don't understand what you're saying.
But getting into the situation where the first time I had a woman, and I'm going to call her a woman because we were 16.
That's
at that age,
woman-ish.
Yeah, at that age, you're a man and a woman at that point, I believe. You're still adolescent, but you're full grown.
By Greek standards,
Today,
you'd be a
you
man.
have kids in your own farm by
So,
the age of 16.
Yeah, so at this instance, I am heading over to her house. We had just gotten off the phone. I can't remember if we were fighting or not. I don't know. I knocked on her door. She opened the door and was swinging. I mean, these were boxer coming at you, looking to knock you out. And I'm on a little step, right? There's like a 3-step ledge. And I'm, dodging at this point. She doesn't hit me. She gets me twice in the shoulders because she's going with both hands.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, this was my, like, okay, I don't want to hit a woman because she's, obviously there's a reason she's doing this, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the reason, but there's a reason. So I have to, like, take what my parents taught me and then what my sister taught me and, like, okay, I have to use enough force to get her to understand I won't back down, but I also don't want to hit her. So I did the bear hug, right? So I had to maneuver it to a point where I could grab her and hug her where I had her arms where she couldn't hit me anymore. And at the same time, like, strong enough to say, I'm not going to let you go until we can talk, like civilized people, but not hurt her at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was, like, I got what my sister was teaching me, and I'm glad she taught me that, but at the same time, I'm glad I had the other side of that to say, you don't fucking do that, because you'll go to jail. It's just pure and simple. Whether or not you believe there's a double standard for anything in the world, there's double standards for everything in the world.
There is, and it's really sad that it's that way.
So, whether she punches you in the face or not, if you hit her back, you're going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that's true in every case. It's like I said, we're more equal now than we were in years past.
Back then.
Getting close. We're getting closer, anyways.
I was going to say, it wasn't true in my case.
But it's not everybody thinks that way. Not everybody is educated enough to think that way, or has that the speed to think that way. I'm just glad that I did have the wherewithal to go, okay, let's maneuver this fucking minefield. And I did it, and everything turned out okay. It was fine. But what were you talking about again?
Well,
Fun
after
fact, so
I think the 7th tirade today, we've had like 7 tirades in one full cast. That is, this is like seasons prior all over again. And I love it. Anyway, as much as I would like to keep on going with this, guys, we've been dragging out the first topic so much that the second one has been barely here.
It's fine.
So,
wait, we can't end it with that speech. We have to end it with something funny, like lighthearted.
Well, I could finish the story that you rushed me from not telling the ending to.
I'm so sorry. I did let you know.
But it does have a funny conclusion to when I was cursing out the dean and the teacher, where as soon as I brought up the money thing, I actually saw the dean actually start sweating, just like, could this be a problem?
Oh.
I was hoping to get like that jacuzzi built with the tuition money. Like, I knew he was thinking something. I was just like, okay, tell you what. I will stop coming here if you guys make sure that the money I'm being used for and all this glory that you're seeing does not affect Jade's education. They had to just look at me and just like, can you guarantee us that you won't be here? I'm like, I will be here every day. I'll probably be here with like all my boys up in here. And then they just kind of looked at me, looked at the car. To clarify what the car was, guys, it was kind of like an old 1987 model Mercedes-Benz, basically. And when they just looking at the car, looking at me, and it just see like me, scruffy face, small dreadlocks, they're just like, okay then, we will accept this agreement. We're gonna make sure that Jade has the finest thing. You're gonna make sure you're not coming here, right? If you say that one more fucking time, I swear to God, I will take all the money, kick the shit out of you, kick the shit out of the teacher, probably take Jade and a couple of the single friends that she has in there, and then trick them out. They're like, you can do that? Do you want to try me? After which, Jade got the finest education that she could ever ask for, has her law degree, and awkwardly enough with her husband, she named her son after me. But we're not going to talk about that awkwardness.
There's a positive from a negative.
Yeah.
All I had to do was just threaten the dean and the teacher.
Unfortunately, that's the way it works.
The story I was going to tell was like fart joke, so I'm glad.
But school stories in a nutshell for everyone at home. Everyone has that one journey, excluding myself of course, involving how education does indeed shape us for how we can interpret life because of the interactions that we have with people. You can't have the good without the bad. You can't have life lessons without slipping and falling on your face a couple of times. You can't have a prosperous life without knowing what it's like to go through the hardships, the heartbreaks, the fighting. All those things help make you a better person, whether or not the educational system really does prepare you or not. The interactions with the individuals help shape you in a better environment itself. And so, with that being the case, we're going to start going over final thoughts. Who wants to go over final thoughts first?
I've talked enough in this podcast.
Why don't we go over to the people that haven't been here in a while due to life?
I'm kidding. I wasn't trying to be a pompous
you guys
asshole.
want to do final thoughts first on both topics?
Sure. As a general thing, what I started to think about while we were doing the names and then thinking back on, school was, and this is a big thing for all the younger viewers, school is fleeting. It seems like a long time because it's 12 years. But let me point this out. We live for close to 100 now. And by the time that I reach 50, they're estimating that medically they should be able to keep us alive for 150 to 200 years. That is 1/10 or less of your life spent in that building. It doesn't last.
It passes.
So going through a hard time, understand that is not life. That is a really crappy tutorial.
A really crappy tutorial that leads you into a really hellish hell
First level.
Oh, yeah,
First
no,
level.
the worst part is the tutorial has nothing to do with the first level. You are in for a whole world of shit when you get to level 1. But
So what you're saying is high school or school isn't the worst, it gets worse.
Oh, absolutely.
Before
But
it
in a
gets
better
better.
way.
Yes.
And let
But-
him have his own final thoughts on his own.
Sorry.
Here's the thing. School is terrible, but that's because 80% of school you have no control over at all. Life, on the other hand, is worse, but you have so much more control over it. You pick your own job, or at least you try to. You pick what kind of house you're okay with living in, what kind of car you're okay with driving in, the person you get to spend the rest of your life with. You get to pick your pets, you get to pick your friends. You're not forced into this cookie cutter mold that high school likes to build. Once you get out of high school, you realize that mold meant nothing. And those who spent their entire high school career fitting in are the ones who fit in the least in society.
Yeah.
The ones that didn't fit in are the normal people. And it's absolutely amazing to see. But the point that I was making, the whole point I was trying to make is you are, as much as it doesn't matter, it is what shapes you.
Got money on my mind every day. Please don't play with mine, put it in the bag. Usually I can leave it in the past. You gon' make me have to show my ass. Ooh, I can love you till the sun comes up. Let me lay your body down. You don't even really gotta ask. I'ma love you better than the rest. Ooh, say something, say something.